Welcome to this
Hello,
program.
And thank you for being here. I'm really excited though. I mean, I've been thinking because I'm a group psychotherapist and I'm very used to work with the groups and be in the group, but it is something like, oops, oh my gosh, how am I going to do it? I'm going to explain my life, and it is a little bit different as a therapist to talk about our stuff, in front of everybody. So, but it's okay. I feel I'm very safe with you. And so you're right. You can ask me and they can ask me anything. I'm ready.
Right. It's a beautiful life. Anyway, all
Mm.
our lives are so
Yes.
beautiful,
Yeah.
especially when you look at this with the eyes of the heart. Then you can only see blessings following other blessings and connections and uh, synchronicity. So,
Yes, that's right. And
well,
this is also important because tomorrow is my birthday.
really? Oh my goodness. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you so much. I think this is a very important birthday for me because I'm going to celebrate with you all together. So actually, it is my honor to be with you here. And I little bit interestingly, in order to prepare myself here and to warm myself to this interview, actually I was looking for some pictures from my past. It's different. It is also sometimes nice and sometimes interesting. So I got some pictures which I'm going to share with you if you let me. Hakan is going to share with me because I'm so excited if I do something wrong with the technical, so he's gonna do with me. But I think it's very nice, and it is something very precious to look back and to learn how I got through and where I am right now. So actually, it is really my pressure to be
Yeah,
here. Thank you so much, Olga, and thank you for all to be here. Uh, and if you disappear sometime in my interview, I don't get offense. Don't worry. So I'm trying to focus on here and now, and I'm ready.
great. So we already know that you were born on the 4th of August of some year, some few decades ago. Where, Nese?
Istanbul.
In Istanbul. So can
Mhm.
you give us a short description of what was the environment like in
Mhm.
Istanbul around the time you were conceived and later born?
Mhm. It was 1969, the year. Well, we in our culture, it's 1969, 68, 70s, around this generation, we say actually it's a kind of a lost generation. We are like, we think ourselves like we are in the middle. Uh, why? Because it was the time, actually, it's a kind of a transition time because of the war has been finished, but still continue about our parents' generation. So there are always not so much money all the time. They always working too hard. No holidays. I mean, I don't remember what does it mean actually. So it is actually what I saw around that times. It was always tough times, not like poverty or like we were not in the war or something, but it was just over. Everybody was trying to get together. So and at that time. in our country, the military service is compulsory. They have to go. All men have to go for at least 6 months, 8 months, something like this nowadays. But at that time, it was 2 years. So my father went to before me, obviously, went to the military service very far away. Uh, for 2 years, and it was something, I think, for my mother and for my father. So this was something like the feeling is not being really together, a little bit separated, and always hard times. And they have to fight, they have to work. Uh, Something like this. It wasn't like, oh, love, 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 heart, heart, heart everywhere. It wasn't like this. And also, it was my feeling as well. Um, they were neighbors, my mother and my father. So I don't know what happened, but obviously, they were like liking each other. Um, um, and my father had engaged before, so he had to finish, or I think maybe his parents didn't let them to be together. So he finished his relationship and they become together. I think they were a kind of a nice couple, beautiful couple for in my eyes. Um, uh, but it was something, maybe we will talk later. It was something missing. I don't know what. It is like maybe because they work very hard, and they were always thinking to do something, but what? Uh, so it all started like this.
Right. Okay. So
Mm.
what were the names, Miss A? The names of your father and your mother?
Selçuk is my father's name, and Ayten Selçuk.
Sajid, right.
Hmm. Hmm.
And your mom?
And Ayten Ayten is my mother's name. It has a meaning actually. There is a moon scheme.
Hmm.
So actually, she got it, and you will see. I got some pictures of her, and we always has a meanings. Always has a meaning in our names. My name also has a meaning,
Which is
uh,
what? Sir?
which is joy.
Hmm.
Yeah, my mother gave it to me. So actually, they had to choose the lottery because they didn't decide which one they had to choose. So they decided to take the lottery, and they choose Neşe, which I think made me feel very well happy most of the time, and joyful most of the time. At least trying to get the joyful parts, whatever I'm having. So this is actually really I'm feeling I am getting my name and the meaning of my name together with me.
A good reminder.
Yes, yes. Well, it's nice at least. Whatever it happens, I can remind myself or remind others. Well, there is even there is something very very bad, the death or the war or whatever. And there is always something. I think this is what I'm doing all the time. I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit optimistic all the time, but this is how I am. And I think it is all again when I'm thinking now. When I ask you, it was the atmosphere. Uh, how was the city and how was the country? Well, there was. I don't remember the feeling. There was no colors, so it was kind of. I remember the gray and a little bit maybe rainy darkness. Um, so maybe that's why I love colors. Uh, but it was like a kind of, this hard work, this hard life. There was always a kind of sadness as well. Uh, um, but you will see my my father was so funny person, very funny and very joyful. So about among this grayness or darkness, he always found like something to sing, something to dance, something to be joyful. So I
Right.
think it was him. Yeah, I would like to actually. Well, let's share. Who,
Just before you go to that, yeah, can you just clarify a little bit? You mentioned this hard work
Mhm.
connected with the post-war
Yeah,
atmosphere. Do you consider this as a challenge or as a value added to what you are um, doing at the moment, uh, or both?
I think both, Olga, because it was a challenge as well. It wasn't very easy for me, but my parents made the things easy for me, so I really appreciate them. And on the other hand, the point is, although they were very hardworking and they were not having good times, but they never shared with me and or told me. I didn't actually realize what was going on. Uh, it was just a feeling because I was having fun and I was the only one child. So everybody was taking care of me and everybody was very focusing on me. So it was actually, I was.
Well, if you're not going, I'll phone them up and ask them.
That's Marsha. That's her. That's her. So I was like a princess, I must say, but I didn't feel anything really. But then then now I realize it's actually kind of a art for the parents. It's a kind of a parenting art. Uh, well, it depends, of course, depends on the parents, depends on the person. But what I got from them, of course, it was important to share what is going on during the family and among the family members. But they didn't actually make me feel we were having very difficult times. We were enjoying, we were, you know, singing, dancing, but at the same time, of course, it was hard, very hard
Yeah,
um, for them, yeah. But I didn't really feel. So these are my parents. Let me introduce
yeah.
them to you.
See the matrimonial image that we had a glimpse of it. So yes, how can we have that image of subject and
I said.
yeah. All right.
Mhm.
Right.
So that's their wedding, and my mom, because she was a tailor, she did her wedding dress herself.
Oh,
And because it was again, you know, not very rich times, very tough times, very difficult times, so they didn't have lots of money to buy like a wedding dress or new one. So so she did it herself.
great creation.
Yes,
That's
yes. It
something
is true. Yes, yes. And then the next one is my mom was in the uh, elementary school. You can see in front, Ayten Karabekir.
yeah.
So actually, she was starting her education, um, uh, and then later she became a tailor. We have a special institute for educating the tailors. There are only the girls' school. So she went there and she became very, 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 very the creative tailor, which I'm not. I can't do anything actually. I'm totally different one. So yeah.
Right. So since we are talking about your mom,
Mm.
could you just focus and share a little bit about the main values, qualities that your mom has instilled in you, or you have discovered, are discovering in your mom?
I can't hear you.
Yeah. What were the qualities
Oh, yeah.
that your mom presented to the world, which were highly appreciated by you and integrated in you as you were born, then growing up, and now living your life?
Well, the first thing it came to my mind, Olga, unconditional acceptance. Well, you can say all moms are like this, but it was like whatever really I do, whatever I say, whatever I decide, uh, she accepted. She didn't, she didn't say anything. She didn't push me anything. She didn't pressure anything. And I actually felt the real and very deep trust to me. So I think this trust and this love unconditionally made me like, okay, I can do anything. I can go anywhere, and I can actually survive wherever I am in the world. So actually, this made me very, I think, made me very strong, and also trust not only to myself, but trust the world I am in, and trust the work what I am doing, and also trust the people, which I do really. Um, uh, so this is the first quality coming from my mom. And also one thing, maybe I can say more, but the most important thing, this one and the second one was, um, uh, she never complained. She didn't complain about anything. Uh, of course, it was very, hard times, of course, difficult times. And of course, well, we will talk later about my birth. She was very, very ill. So she had a heart disease. But I didn't hear, I mean, she never said I'm tired. She never said I'm so busy. Never said, oh, I cannot do this, I cannot do that. It's like everything is possible, and was possible in my small world. So that's why I think I I perceive the life. I mean, how is something impossible? And I didn't really know this world really. Some people say, if this is not possible, this is not possible, this is very hard. Well, of course there are lots of things very hard. Of course, I mean there are lots of hard times all over the world, lots of things. But it is not. If you tell me it is not possible, I think I can easily find ways to make it possible, and whatever it costs. So this is not complaining, is actually makes my life very easy, very comfortable, and very acceptable. So
Right.
this is coming all from my mom, really.
And your dad, we have seen an image of your dad. Perhaps there are more of your dad.
Yes. Well, actually, sorry. Yeah, please continue,
Yeah.
and then.
It is the same question. What is the quality that you appreciate in your father and which you integrated in your own experience of life?
Yeah, well, my father started, well, because we have a very, very age difference. It was my mom gave birth to me. She was at 40 years old. And then it was like 3, 4 years between my mom and dad. So my father was quite adult when they got me. But the quality came to my mind coming from my father is absolutely joy and absolutely like the music and the singing together. Oh, that's my that's my father on the right side. And these are three kids together with my grandfather, uh, my uncle in the middle, and my aunt. So as you see, my grandfather is a police uh, chief,
Officer.
you say, police officer, the head of the police officers. So obviously you can see, he's very proud of his kids.
Die
And
erzählt ihre Lebensgeschichte. Guck mal.
that must be Amara's voice, I can hear. So actually, he was raised by this kind of very hard discipline. Obviously, if you are part of the police and the head of the even police department, then you can't be free that much. So Hakan, are you there? Thank you so much. So that's the real grandfather. Yeah, so you can see he is very tough, but at the same time, he's the father. And so I think my father got all, not this one, Hakan. Thank you. So you can take it out. Everybody did see my grandfather already.
I see similarities between your grandfather and Hakan. Yeah. So again, you can show your grandfather's image, and if it is possible, Hakan to have the grandfather's image, the paternal grandfather. Right. Okay. Yeah. Perhaps this is a very interesting.
Hakan is going to kill her himself.
Anyway, so this is the paternal grandfather. Yeah. Could you share a little bit about the maternal grandfather and something about the grandmothers, both sides?
Yeah, you can go to next one. So that's my maternal grandfather and a maternal grandmother, mother's mother. So as you see, they were really enjoying, and I think it is kind of the very maybe first time my grandmother was in the sea because she was very scared, and also my mother was very scared of swimming. And they are these two lovely people were coming from Selanik. Is that right pronunciation? Your city in Greece, Selaniki? Selanik.
You mean?
Selaniki?
Thessaloniki?
Yes.
Thessaloniki, yeah.
So they are coming from there. So they were born there. So it means actually my two generations were coming from the Greece. So no wonder we also find each other and to work together with you, Olga. I always, have my Greek friends around me. So these are my grandmother's mother and father's mother. And so they are really nice people and very patient. And they also work very hard because they were refugee. So they had to leave the country, their own, their own lands, let's say, and they had to come to Istanbul, Turkey, and they had to start the life from the beginning, from the scratch. So as we know, the refugees' life not very easy all the time. But they were nice people, and my grandmother liked to cook all the time. So she was a very very good cook, and my grandfather. I think they are very, I think they love each other. So when I see this picture, so this is all coming from there. And then
Nese, you speak about
that's me.
the exchange of the populations, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and this is you, I guess.
That's me. That's me. I don't know why, but I was not like always like this. I didn't like to be taking the photos. I hate it always. If somebody took my photos, I was kind of screaming. Well, actually, I don't know why, because I love now. So this one, it's me. I think maybe few months or something, maybe 4 months, something like this.
They say perhaps now it is the point where you can share a little bit about your way of coming to life, the
Yeah.
way you were born.
Well, I think this is the story. The real story is starting there. What I am doing right now, and how I am helping the mothers and babies, and also the fathers. Before me, Olga, it was like few miscarriages, and fortunately, the doctors told my mother, "You can't give birth." It was a heart disease, and it was the serious one. They didn't cure it, they didn't treat it. Maybe it wasn't right time. So they said no. If you do, this is not our responsibility. But if you want to have a baby, there is a big chance, big risk that you're gonna die. So it was set already like this. And then, of course, my mother, of course, but I'm of course, when I say of course, I mean she was very decisive, and you can't stop her at all. I mean, she just does whatever she needs to do. So of course, she didn't listen to them, and of course, she wanted to have a baby. I don't know, maybe that was the time there was no choice not to have a baby. So maybe the people, the woman had to have a baby. I don't know, the grandparents were giving the pressure on them, but she wanted. So she got pregnant, and then, of course, the hard times arrived. The pregnancy was very difficult. She had to lie down most of the time. Obviously, she was anxious. She must have been anxious, because, of course, she decided to have a baby. But at the same time, she heard, if you're gonna have a baby, you can die, maybe. So I think it was all anxiety was going around the pregnancy, especially close to the labor time. And then she had to go to hospital and lay down there, and couldn't move. And at that time, 1969, it was a very few cesarean, very few. Uh, Maybe, I don't know the rate, but it was like, I mean, you're gonna go to cesarean, otherwise you're gonna die, something like this. So and then they made a cesarean for her, and it was the time, I think, the most important time for the father, because my father said, he was asked, who is going to choose, your wife or your baby? He never told me actually what was his answer, but obviously he could have chosen his wife, obviously. But I think it was very lonely time for him, and because my mother also had to lay down all the time, and going to the C-section without knowing if she was going to alive or not, or if she was going to hold her baby or not, then she was also lonely, I think. And I think also the doctors and midwives, I'm also feeling about them. They didn't know what to do, because there was this woman around 40 years old, and she's taking a huge risk. Uh, and I think, what can they know? What can they do? So that was a kind of a moment, actually, the feelings going around in the room when I was coming to the world. And then I was healthy. And mom, actually, I think it was a very difficult time for her. So of course there was no skin to skin contact, no hugging, nothing. Uh, and I feel I just left alone there somewhere, because I was very healthy, and they were really need to take care of her. She was nearly, dying. So I mean, nearly. I don't know if it is this image, or it is just what I am thinking, or maybe I am making up. But I was feeling myself like carrying by somebody else, would be maybe my aunt, but alone. Like a naked, not cold, but alone all the time. Uh, uh, and I was also feeling everybody, interestingly. I was feeling like my mom, my father, all the team work. And of course, we're going to talk maybe with your questions. And actually, this moment, this is like a maybe few seconds, I think. Uh, I can even, draw a picture of this moment. This moment, 1 second, 2 seconds moment, actually, I think, made my work team work together. Um, because I really felt everybody's feeling, uh, there. And I am sure everybody was feeling very anxious and very lonely. Interestingly, they were together, but separated. Each of them were alone. Very interesting. So this is actually what I am really trying to do, to try to be uh, with them all the time. So this is the moment. This is the powerful moment, I think. So after the labor, my mom paralyzed. She couldn't hold me. I think left side, because of the heart disease. Uh, couldn't move the hand, couldn't move the arm. So, but it wasn't again the opportunity, another opportunity, right? So all neighbors in the building need to take care of me. And because I was the only baby in all the building, and I was always somewhere in a different flat with different people, different neighbors. And this time, actually, and also in Turkish custom, the neighbors are very important for us. So we always take care of ourselves. We always feed each other, care each other, something like that. And it was the time, this neighborhood, let's say, it was like a sisterhood. So I was feeling very secure, and I was just all building. I think it was like maybe 4 or 5 floors. I don't remember now, but all building was my home. Uh, so it was a very nice opportunity for me, and now I'm thinking I can stay everywhere. I can kind of get along with nearly lots of people. So it was a very nice feeling, actually. I didn't feel alone. I didn't feel like, oh, where is my mom? Why didn't she hug me or something? Because everybody was hugging me, and everybody was really taking care of me. And my mom's paralyzed position didn't didn't take too much. It was, I think, maybe few months or something, and then she was okay later on. But always she was having a heart disease, always. And later, when I was in elementary school, she had a big, we call it like a closed heart operation. So change her veins or something, very big one. Uh, I think because of this as well. So she took a risk. She took a very huge risk to have me.
Yeah.
I love her.
Perhaps she had a very good reason for that, and a big trust in you. And here, as trust was something that was among her own best qualities. So
Yeah, yeah.
you have started in say speaking about your childhood, and I know that you are also connected with music, uh, not only art in the form of drama therapist, art therapist, but can you speak a little bit more about your early childhood?
That's me. That's me and my first mandolin. And well, my mom pushed me to go to the mandolin course. So it was my first instrument, and it was my first concert as well. I was always in the stage, interestingly. Either I was doing like a mandolin, or I was, I don't know, like a flute, playing the flute, something like this. And then later on, maybe Hakan is going to show you, I had also like a band, but it was like a children band. That's me. So I was always doing something, actually. And then not like very in front, but on the stage most of the time. So I was like reading the poems, like doing something or playing something. Uh, this kind of lots of things. So it was not like not nowadays, because nowadays I know the parents are taking the kids different courses all the time, like a ballet or music, or the playing the instrument, something like that. But it was that time, first of all, we didn't have this kind of opportunities, because I mean, we were not rich, and also there was not this kind of opportunities. But actually, my mom created this kind of things. I don't know how she created, and I don't know how she did it, but I found suddenly myself playing something, or singing something, doing something. So actually, uh, maybe consciously or unconsciously, she was trying to open some kind of opportunities for me, the doors for me. Uh, well, I wasn't so happy to go this concert, or to go somewhere, or to be in the stage, because it was actually very anxious times for me. But then I get used to, and and this is my gang. You have to see this photo, and this is me, and this is my life actually at home, because I was very all kids are precious, but because I came little bit late, let's say, the 16 years after they got married, and because I came very difficult process, and they didn't actually let me to play outside. And so I wasn't supposed to bike. I wasn't supposed to play on the street. And then I decided, okay, then I'm gonna play at home with my gang, with my people. So these are my toys, and I'm still keeping some of them, by the way. And I was so happy with my people. I was talking to them. I was playing with them. I was actually doing kind of first psychodrama stage with my gang. And I was so happy with them. I was telling them the stories and kind of taking the role reverse, which now Marsha is smiling, I know, with them. And I was really happy, and I didn't feel alone. And I wasn't like, oh, why I'm not going to the street for the other kids to play with them. No, I was quite okay. So this is very interesting. I find it very interesting. I was never, I never said no. I want this. I never said I wasn't. How do you say? What is this word? Um, I was so naive. Uh, and if somebody, my mom and my father present something, so this is our life, and this is our conditions, and this is our opportunities. So this is how we are, Neshe. And then I said, okay, you know, that's okay. I mean, because I don't see any point uh, to say no to them, because they never said no to me, never, so actually the no is not a very existing word in our family. As I told you, everything was possible actually. So this was a kind of atmosphere. And when I look from now to my childhood, uh, I saw actually, kind of lonely person, but at the same time, I was kind of teaching myself uh, how to be together with adults, how to become like a woman, a girl first, woman, humankind. And because as I told you, my mom was a tailor, we had always guests in our houses. So guest means of course they are her customers, but at the same time they are they were her friends. So there were always people in our house. Maybe that's why I was not very feeling lonely. And there will always, by the way, woman, because she was a tailor, very sisterhood atmosphere again. So everybody was supporting each other. Everybody was, giving, bringing some food together. They were laughing together. They were sewing together. They were doing some things together. So again, you can see there is a team, and again there is a group, and again there is a woman power as well.
So, as you have started narrating the early traits in you and the initial elements in the initial environment, and how these are connected with who you became, who were the main inspirators, apart from the family members, but also they may be included. Who were the main inspirators?
Well, I think it's all started obviously with my mom and my father, and all the groups, starting from my gang, my toys, And all this community power, as you mentioned, I think this was very important. And as you see, when now we're gonna continue with my college and then university and then master degree and then my psychodrama life, there were always community, Olga. Now you will see this is my college times, and I am, maybe you can't recognize me, but I'm in the middle with my glasses on. So again, see, there are lots of people around me. And this is my master degree at Keele University in England. There is again lots of people around me. That's me. Thank you, Hakan. I don't know if I have more group photos. I'm not sure. Well, this is my graduation from my Keele University. Oh my God, I was so young. Oh my God.
You are so young. Come on.
And then, yeah, that's my father. We were having very, very good time together. We were laughing so much. And it was a very nice environment around us. This is my father and mother. We always celebrate everything. And the birthdays, you know, I mean, whatever it is, we celebrate it. It's not supposed to be something. Actually, we were kind of trying to find something to celebrate. And of course, mom is a very good cook, as I told you. And maybe another photo. Oh, not this one, but we can go to. I can share with this one to you later. We can go to maybe the psychodrama and Denise and Marsha. She's also here. Hello, Marsha. Thank you for being here. She is my primary trainer in psychodrama. So you will see we are together. I don't know. I think it was in Israel, Marsha. I am not sure about it. It was a group psychotherapy and psychodrama conference. So she was one of my inspirations. And hello, Marsha.
Never Shalom, was it? Never Shalom.
I think so. I think so. Do you remember?
Oh, very well. A kibbutz for both Palestinian and Israeli kids. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is my two inspirations, actually, I want to share. And one is Marsha. Marsha is a pioneer about psychodrama in England. And she was the first generation and first trainees from Zarka Moreno and Jacob Levi Moreno, who are, you know, who were the mother and the father of psychodrama. So, and then the other one, Deniz, Mr. Deniz Altınay, he was my first business partner, and we founded together Istanbul Psychodrama Institute. So I think apart from, of course, you know, all teachers, I can't, I don't want to, I want to mention everybody here. This is later, it's a little bit later. William Emerson, Rupert, and Gerald is here, as you can see. And William Emerson also is very important in my life. So there are all,
yeah, analysis there, and also
yes.
Rupert Linden.
Yes,
right?
yes, that's right. So these people, as a teacher, as a counselor, as a guidance, as a friend, very important in my life.
Nesha,
yes,
you are my psychodramatic granddaughter.
Yes, that's true.
Dr. Moreno, Zerka, parents, me and Ken, well, me, daughter, and you, granddaughter, psychodramatically. Yeah, I just figured that out.
That's true. And my trainees
are great-grandchildren.
Grandchildren, yes. Yes. And do you know, by the way, do you know, now I have a trainees, I have a psychodrama students. Her mother was also my student.
Yeah, I have the same in many places.
Oh my God, I'm so getting old, Marsha.
Yeah.
My goodness. So here we go. You know, these are so valuable moments and so precious people around me. I'm so honored and I'm so lucky actually to have them all my life. So this is the point. Yeah.
Nese, since Marsha is here, very tender of you, Marsha, attending this program. Thank you. Since Marsha is here, could you share what was the one most important inspirational message that you got from here?
Oh my God.
You know, these words that stay in on our consciousness, and they do not let us sleep soft unless we do it.
I think one statement is coming to my mind. Marsha, shall we sing together? Let it be, huh?
Okay, let it be.
Let it be.
Let it
Let
be.
it be.
Let it
Let it
be.
be.
Let it be. There will
There
be
will
an
be an
answer.
answer.
Let
Let
it
it be.
be. Dee-da-da-da-da-da-da. Mother Mary comforts
Comes to
me.
me.
There will be
There'll be an answer.
let
Let
it
it
be.
be.
Anybody know the words? They're very profound.
But that's fine. This is actually, you see, this is what I got from her.
Yeah.
I mean, this is I got from her. This is always at the moment, always creative, always spontaneous, and always.
And I got it from the
fun.
Beatles. I got it from the Beatles.
You wouldn't have gotten it from them unless it was not in you. So it was yours as well as theirs or anybody else's. And Nesse, from William Emerson, what was it that inspired you? The one little motto.
Oh, well, when I the photo I show it to you, it was a conference in the United States, and it was the first time actually when I saw him. But the important thing is, and the funny thing is, sorry, but I didn't know him very well. And I didn't, that was the time I was just stepping into the prenatal science world. And I didn't know his name. And I'm sorry, but I didn't really know. And then when I met him, he was telling me, well, nice to meet you, Neşe. I'm a bird psychologist. I said, bird psychologist? But how come you're a bird psychologist? Because you are not participating the birds. So you cannot be bird psychotherapist. I am the bird psychotherapist. And because you're a man and you cannot, so it was all confusing, the words and the terms. And then I realized, my goodness, whom I am talking to, I mean, he was the father of nearly the initiator of the prenatal psychology. And I'm and I'm telling him, you cannot, no, because in my idea and in my understanding, if you are a birth psychotherapist, you have to be in the labor, and you participate in the labor, and you have to be there. So how can you name yourself birth psychotherapist not being in the labor? So I was so confused, and he was so confused, and then we were laughing, together. And I actually, this being modest and having a lots of information and having a lots of experience, but at the same time being modest and having this modesty also was very important for me. I think I got it from him as
Yeah,
well.
great. And from Shroff, do you have something to share from Gerhard Shroff? And one of the teachers of bounding analysis.
Yes, it is true. Well, actually, it was our again in our group.
Yeah,
You know, I was just, you know, we were just enjoying together.
yeah,
But from there, maybe I had to go my other teams. You see, there are always teams around me, always groups, always teams. And then maybe we can go Istanbul Psychodrama Institute,
yeah.
Istanbul Bird Academy, and also ISPPM. And there is also Prenatal Alliance. It's very new, but I am also in the board. And there is also one more thing. This is the playback theater, by the way. I don't know if you heard about it. Can you make it bigger, Hakan? Thank you. So this is the playback theater team. So it's again another team. Have you heard about it? Playback theater?
Say that again.
Playback theater.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Agnes heard about it. So this is Dennis actually was leading the playback theater. Spontaneity theater is the very base for psychodrama, which actually all coming from Jacob Levi Moreno. And in this playback theater,
No, it is not. You're
it's
wrong.
not what
No.
happened. Tell me.
Moreno never did or had anything to do with playback theater. He knew nothing about it. It was presented by Jonathan Fox,
Oh, Jonathan Fox. Yes,
who
that's
was
right.
Zerka Moreno's stepson.
That's true.
Jonathan Fox learned psychodrama from Zerka because his stepfather became the next partner of Zerka. When he was a young hippie in New York with big hair like this, he was about 20 something, and he decided that people telling stories was therapeutic to distance themselves a little bit away from the experience. He then played around with the idea of playback theater, and he presented it to the American Society of Group Psychotherapy and Psychodrama in about the 80s, or I think the late 70s, early 80s. I remember I was in the group when he first presented it to the ASGPP. I thought it was nonsense because I was a narrator. I told a story about Moreno. Wonderful story about air conditioning, not being able to. I was driving Moreno to New York because Zerka was ill, and we were very, 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 very hot. And I was trying to find the air conditioner. And Moreno said, Marsha, when you drive, drive. When you're looking for the air conditioner, and when you're going to talk, but don't do all at once. They're separate roles. So he went to sleep. Moreno went to sleep. The students in the back kept poking me, find the air conditioner, find the air conditioner. It was 90 degrees, 100 degrees. So while he was asleep, I found the air conditioner. I put the button on, thank the God, we had air conditioning. When the open theater was over in New York City, 78th and Broadway, he directed the session. We couldn't find the car. Zerka was ill. We were going to go to a delicatessen. He said, no, I'll eat at home with Zerka. I don't want to eat now. So we go midnight. None of us could find the car. He laughed. He thought it was very funny. We couldn't remember where we put the car. We get in, the air conditioning is on, and now it's 16 below zero or something, and we're all wearing hot pants and this and that. We think, oh my God, he's going to say, don't touch the thing, but we're freezing, absolutely freezing. So we wait till he goes to sleep, and I push the button and turn off the air conditioning. Thank the fuck Christ. Anyway, Jonathan Fox, he uses all those scarves. Moreno would never use scarves. He uses all that music. He would never use music. When we were in the group, anything in the group, objects, songs, music was made by the group for the group.
Yeah, that's
Marcia,
true.
perhaps it is a good opportunity that you have this information. Perhaps later we can make a program about Moreno's work.
Yeah, we have to do this.
He's one of the pioneers in
Yeah,
and brilliant
yeah.
But
aspects.
I want to say how offended I feel that you think it was Moreno's idea, A. B, that it's the basis of psychodrama. I feel offended because Moreno
Oh,
would never do what Jonathan
yeah,
did. Never.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's not the spontaneity, it's also, you know, the Vienna Gardens. Moreno started to work with the kids, with the children.
Yeah.
It is also important. And also I want to share with Zerka's photos here.
Great.
Maybe you don't know him, but you don't know this photo. But when she was here in Turkey, this is also we were together and doing psychodrama workshop together, and it is jumping from. So that's a very good idea, actually, jumping from one to another one. So from Zerka and from Marsha, and for very important woman roles in my life. So that's my mom. And this photo was very important for me. I think I'm always keeping this photo just near me, and to look at her and get some inspiration sometimes, get some courage sometimes, because I find her very courageous, and to do something, whatever she needs to do and whatever she decides to do. So whenever I feel a little bit down, and whenever I feel it's tricky, it's hard, or it's difficult, so I see this picture. I think this is very important. And as you see, when I'm always talking about the groups, and when I'm always talking about the woman power, but it is not always like a woman power all around me, but it's a teamwork altogether. And then I need to maybe also mention about another teamwork with Psychodrama Institute, which we were working since 1996 with Deniz Altınay together. We are still doing psychodrama training here. And during the pandemic, we had to do psychodrama, unfortunately, online, which was very difficult for me, at least, but we did it. So you can see lots of groups. Can you share, Hakan? Psychodrama groups, like a very crowded ones, maybe. Yeah, this one. So we have right now around 300 trainees altogether. It is really something. So we really appreciate about Zoom during the pandemic. Otherwise, we couldn't really continue our training. That's what we had to do. And then another group and another group setting. And of course, it is psychodrama. After psychodrama, it is Istanbul Birth Academy. So this is my partner and also life partner and my business partner, Dr. Hakan Çoker. So we decided to start Istanbul Birth Academy together. And we visited lots of places about births, about labors, about mothers, about babies, all around the world. And this is what was the name? Bumi Sehat in Bali, organized and coordinated by Robin Lim. We also interviewed with her This interview is also coming soon. And so they created a very nice birth center over there with a very limited conditions, very limited circumstances. So they are doing very well. And slowly, when I get inside the birthing world, let's say, I also had to decide to educate myself as a childbirth educator and also different, areas. So after all these years being a psychotherapist and being psychodrama therapist, so I again learned lots of things, which is one of them is a water birth. So again, I had to announce lots of trainings, lots of trainers. So I became Lama certified trainer, water birth trainer, active birth trainer, hypnobirthing trainer. You know why? I mean, you can tell me, are you crazy? What is this kind of education after so many years? But the point was, I wanted to create something new, which was birth psychotherapy. So the birth psychotherapy, in my understanding, is a psychotherapist, not psychologists, psychological counselors, or social workers, psychotherapists. So it needs to be the person already became a psychotherapist and already to work with the clients, already working with the adults, individual psychotherapy setting, individual or group, doesn't make a difference. But then the point is, this birth psychotherapist needs to work with the mothers, fathers, and doctors and midwives, grandmothers from mother side or father side. So she is getting all the information from the families who they are going to give birth, and then also lots of information from the team members, doctors, midwives. So put all this information together and then get all this information to the labor. So this participation, being in the labor with that much information, is so important, so valuable. So if the labor stuck somewhere, or if the labor prolongs, or if there is a misunderstanding between doctors or midwives, or between hospital staff, or there is something coming from the past history related with the father, or related with the grandfathers. So the birth psychotherapist already knows these dynamics because she got the information. So it is not actually what is going on here, why this labor is so long, why this cervix is not opening. So there is always something behind this, unless it's a mechanical things. So this is actually what I wanted to do, to work with everybody. And again, it's coming from my own story. Don't let people alone if there is a need. And this was important for me. So that's why if a psychotherapist decides to get into the medical world, I mean, it's not only the psychotherapist, it's one person decides get into the medical world, she has to understand their language. And in my understanding, she has to, I at least decided to learn everything from the scratch. I didn't know about anything about the labor. I didn't know anything about the childbirth education, but I decided, okay, I have to do this. So in order to initiate birth psychotherapy training or being birth psychotherapist, I need to understand what is going on there. What is the doctor's mind? What is their heart? what is going on between midwives and doctors, what is going on between the hospital staff, everything. So, so I spent lots of time to learn all these educations, and I think each of them was wonderful, and they gave me not only knowledge but the perspective and the feeling also. Okay, now I understand doctors 100%. I understand midwives, why they are suffering. And of course, the mothers, fathers, and of course, the grandmothers, especially in my country, who are very powerful role in their children's life. They are even, yeah, they are.
Since you speak about the mature years of your work, after some decades, after you were born, the way you were born, and the dynamics of that birth experience of yours, after so many, after these experiences, what are the most important lessons that you have come up with that you would like to share with all of us? Let's say the three most important lessons that you have learned. What are they?
My inner gone and come back again. The three important
lessons, learnings. What are the most important lessons you have learned after working in this field on these many levels that you have spoken about?
Well, patience, because I had to be in the labor sometimes for 4 days, hours, with sometimes with doing nothing, just being there, taking the space and taking like trying to make them feel trust and just being there. And I learned also I don't have to do lots of things to support people or to be there. Just again, you know, my psychodrama background gave me the power, being here and now. That's it. Just being in the present. So again, I learned once more, I don't have to do lots of things. And also, respect. Of course, I knew the respect. And of course, it is also my main, you know, attitude, respect for everybody. But then, when I initiated Hand to Hand for Birth Association in Turkey, this motto, the respect to mothers, the birthing mother, respect the birthing father, respect the baby, and respect the birth team together, whoever inside, and respect the birthing space. So this for respect for R, let's say, also I learned so much. But this is actually sometimes I find it very hard, because as a president of NGO, Hand to Hand for Birth Association, and vice president of ISBPM, I thought to myself, I became freer. I became more free to say things like, okay, so this is the obstetric violence. Come on, this is what is going on with these doctors. What is going on with this midwife? What are you doing these babies? What are you doing these women? What are you doing these labors? But then, because of respect to everybody, and because I learned so much, from the doctor's point of view, from midwife's point of view. And then in the end of the day, I come to the point, well, I do understand everybody. I really do. So then I cannot say, well, this is wrong, because I really understand why it is wrong. So I'm a little bit trapped here. So if I say, let's say there is an obstetric violence happening in the hospital sometimes, then I feel, well, but I know why it is happening from doctor's side and from midwife side. So if I say there is an obstetric violence, which is, by the way, but then how am I going to help the doctors? How am I going to help the midwives? So now these are nowadays, actually, I am working about this. And I say the things loudly because now I am kind of power, you know, about being president or vice president or whatever, and I'm trying to contact with lawmakers, and I'm trying to contact with the government, contact with the health ministers, trying to contact with everybody actually. But again, I do understand everybody. So actually, I am trying to get rid of this understanding point, which is actually coming from my family again, because it was like this. I mean, I told you, whatever I said, whatever I did, it was always respect and it was always understanding. But I have to get rid of it.
Yeah. Well,
Soon.
no. So, summing up, it's patience, trust, presence, nothing may be everything, and understanding from different perspectives what is going on, to see the whole scene and respect the contribution. That's what more or less you have shared as important learnings. And yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, and of course, with the babies, Olga, I don't know what else I can do for the generations, because I know lots of things happening in the world. I didn't know before, because you know, I was very focused on my psychodrama training, and I was, you know, trained psychodramatist. But then I realized the first time again, psychodrama helped me. If I make a role reverse with the babies in the womb, so I can understand and I can listen what they are telling to me and what they are trying to tell the parents and what they are trying to tell the world. So this is actually, of course, I'm trying to help the mothers and the women and everybody, but the most important actually is the babies,
Yeah,
as well,
And,
and for the new generation.
Nesha, can I ask also, do you role reverse with the birth canal and the cervix and all?
Sorry?
Do you also role reverse with the cervix and the birth canal?
Yes. Cervix, womb, and sometimes umbilical cord,
Yeah,
sometimes placenta.
yeah. I
Because,
think I've seen you do that. It's very
yeah,
profound, very profound.
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. And you know, they say lots of information, Marsha. You know, that sometimes placenta tells you all the story in the womb. Uh, well, you know, I am having always a difficulty to explain these kind of stories, and these kind of stories coming from placenta, amniotic fluid, womb, cervix.
since you have all this experience, what is the most important message that you would like to share with the younger generation of professionals, doulas, midwives, lactation consultants, psychodramatists, obstetricians, psychologists, psychotherapists. What is the most important message that you would like to share with them?
Thank you actually for asking this, because when I was listening Marsha, it was very touching, and thank you for sharing, Marsha. It was very important to hear, and I think this is important, you know, listening and sharing, and also respecting to each other, and it's a lots of stories, Olga. It's a really lots of stories, and it is nothing. Not one story is important than the other one. So that's why we have to really uh, keep listening and keep respecting and keep being uh, here and now, of course, because when hearing the stories, of course, it is important to listen your past and also maybe predict your future. But this is all here and now, actually. This is all including in the moment. So again, once again, my lovely trainer Marsha gave me this opportunity to say these words for the new generation. Listening. Listening is so important, because when you listen, first of all, you can stay at the moment. And secondly, when you listen, you respect the other and respect the other people's story again. And then everything is in the moment, actually, really.
Right.
And of course, working together is also important. I always would like to mention and suggest working together. I mean, it is, I mean, you can't do anything alone. Of course, you can write a book, and of course, you can do lots of things, which I'm not going to mention now, but alone. But it is important to work together. That's why we are doing this prenatal science congress in October, and that's why I've been trying to be as a teamwork and to teach as a teamwork, which is Birth with No Regret team, to doctors, to midwives. This is my solution, Olga, really. Because I told you, when I search what is the problem, what is the reasons for this kind of interventions, C-sections, you know, all this violence. What is really, what is going on there? It is missing respect, missing the teamwork together. So that's why I want to share with my team, with my honor, and in front of you, because without them, of course, midwife and doctor, I always need to mention these two roles. I don't think I could have created birth psychotherapy role and birth psychotherapist role. So this is actually team. As you see, maybe it's only three, but it's not only three people here. There is a huge army behind of us. And this is also two doctors, which I must mention their names. Selçuk Somer and Hakan Çoker supported me since 2010. I know, of course, when I say teamwork, it's a teamwork, but we need to also support our science. When I support obstetrician, and they also support psychotherapy, prenatal science, and birth psychology, which is very, very important. And of course, my very last gratitude and very last thank you words, let's say, going to my partner, my life partner. That's Hakan. And he's always supporting me, always, teaching me new things, and very patient to me, because I am learning in their world, and I'm also trying to learn more and more. So what I want to keep my image all the time. Hakan, can you go back to my elementary school when I'm alone? Önlüklü, siyah önlüklü, tek başıma olan fotoğrafa dönen. Yeah, that's one. So I would like to keep this image. This is my very first day in my elementary school. And I think I am going to stay as a student forever. So I'm going to keep this image and to open, to learn all the time, So I want to keep this image for me and for the others, for doulas, for doctors, for midwives, for parents. Be curious. That's actually Matthew Appleton. He is also another educator recently from integrated baby therapy training. So he always says, be curious and try to open for new opportunities and new lessons. So I would like to stay as a student all the time, open for new, yeah. So this would be, Olga, thank you, Hakan. This would be my nearly last sentences to everybody who is interested in prenatal science, birth psychology, and wants to work with women, with babies, and with birth teams. I don't want to say it's a difficult world, but it is a different world. So we need to be patient to each other, to explain what is our aim, to explain babies in the womb feel everything, understand everything, record everything. So they are human beings, as it's just the small ones, somebody told. So they are like us. I don't see they are different. So that's why whatever we do in our countries, in our areas, in our profession, just try to listen, babies, try to listen, fathers and mothers, and also all the other work teams. And because our Congress is also related with human earth connection and life sustainability, so please also listen to nature, the earth, because they are trying to say, the earth is also trying to say lots of things to us. So listen and respect.
Great, great. Is there anything that you would change if you could go back and do it another way?
Oh, it's an interesting question. Not really. No. I was thinking I would have traveled more, but I can do it again. But I don't think so. I think I did everything very on time, on my time, and according to my time. So as Mai said, my dear daughter, whatever you do and whatever you say, I trust you. So I trust you folks, wherever you are, in your countries, in your regions, and whatever you're doing, I trust you.
So let's leave it there with this beautiful last sentence of yours. I trust you folks. Thank you, Nese, for being with us.